Hi, it's Joy Foster, founder of TechPixies and the host of the Sparkle and Thrive podcast. And I'm delighted to have you with us today. We have a wonderful guest, which I'm sure you will agree has a great story to tell. Now, when you look at Anya, you would not think she's a grandmother, but she is. And she wanted to be available for her grandson to be able to spend time with him and to be able to help her daughter out. And she still wanted to be able to build up a way for her to generate income on the side. So we are so delighted that Anya said yes to doing the social media management certification at TechPixies. And she's now doing our social media internship. And she's got a great story to tell. And I'm so delighted that she's here to tell that story today. So Anya, welcome to the podcast. I'm so glad you're here.
Thank you, Joy. I'm glad to be here.
Well, I just love your story. It's so much fun. You came onto a couple boot camps before you decided to join our social media management certification, I believe. And you didn't make the decision right away, but are you glad you made the decision now?
Yes, definitely. I've learned so much from doing TechPixies. Yeah, it was just the thought of, uh, all the stuff that I needed to learn put me off to start with. That's why I did a couple of boot camps to build my confidence. And then I thought, yeah, I need to do this. I need to learn how to use all of this tech so I can get my crochet out there to,
Well,
people that need it.
I love this. And one of the things that you did do was you have built up a YouTube channel all about crochet called Granie Creates. Now, if you're listening to us, it's spelled Granie and then Anie, right? So Granny Annie Creates. I just love what you've been able to do. So you now have over 250 subscribers at the time of this recording.
Yeah.
Thinking back to when you started TechPixies, did you ever imagine you'd have a YouTube channel with over 250 subscribers?
No, definitely not. Well, when I first learned about YouTube with TechPixies, I didn't even really watch YouTube myself. Since then I do, and I love YouTube. But yeah, I didn't know anything about YouTube. And then when I decided to do the YouTube because it's really good for creatives, I thought if I could get sort of 15 to 20 people following me, that would be great. So yeah,
And now you've got
250
over
is brilliant.
250. I know.
Yeah,
And some of your videos, your shorts, you've got many shorts that have over 400 views. So
yeah,
so tell us about why you chose YouTube. Obviously, it's good for creatives, and it's
yeah.
also, so tell us the other reasons why you've picked YouTube.
Yeah, YouTube is evergreen, I've learnt since. So it's going to be there, forever. And people can search. It's like a search engine for videos. So if somebody wants to learn how to do a granny square, if they search granny square, they might come across my channel and then they can watch my video and I can show them how to do the crochet. So for me, because the crochet takes quite a while to do the video, I wanted it to be there and there searchable. So yeah, it's evergreen, it's searchable, and yeah,
And
it's just
that
good
just
fun.
means it doesn't disappear. It's there forever. People can go find it. They can come back to it. They can watch it again and again. And one of the benefits of evergreen content, particularly one of the reasons why YouTube works so well for a lot of creators, is that very reason that it sort of goes on and on and on forever. And there are some perks because one of your goals with building up your YouTube channel has to do with actually getting YouTube to pay you to create content. So tell
Yeah.
us about that goal of yours and why it's so important.
Yeah, so when you reach over 1,000 subscribers, YouTube will pay you ad revenue. So it depends on what type of content you're making and what audience they think that they can, hit the ads to. Um, will depend on what revenue you make. But yeah, when you hit 1,000 subscribers, then you're able to make some money. So YouTube pay you.
And how does that feel to know you're 25% the way towards that goal of having 1,000 followers?
Yeah, it's great. And actually, the more followers you get, and the shorts work really well for me because once I put a short out, I get one or two followers from each short. So YouTube, once you show YouTube that you're consistent, they start putting your content out to other people. So yeah, by posting consistently, YouTube reward you by showing you to more people, and then hopefully they like and subscribe, and then you sort of build your following.
One of the big advantages of YouTube is not only that once you hit 1,000 subscribers, that YouTube starts paying you, but also once you start getting consistent, YouTube starts pushing your content out to more people. And that's a huge advantage. And you're seeing that uplift on your videos as a result.
Yes. Yeah, and the analytics on YouTube is really good as well. You can see what's working and what's not so much, and then you can do more of what's working. It's also really good to watch other YouTubers in your sort of area and gain ideas and and sort of comment on their followers and posts and things, and then it creates a community, especially in something like crochet. It's not cutthroat, it's crochet.
Love that. It's not cutthroat, it's crochet. Well, and that is true. So the community element of YouTube is coming up as well. Because I remember when we first taught YouTube, we're like, it's not really about community, but that community element is starting to come in much stronger now. It's so interesting because not a lot of people in our community lean into YouTube as their primary social media network, but it's really working for you because you're doing the other networks, but this is the one that's really working.
Yeah, I think possibly the thing that's putting people off of trying YouTube is that you've got to get in front of a video. Well, you can do it faceless, but it's more work. But you've got to just take off your invisibility cloak, put your brave pants on, and just do it. But I saw another YouTuber, and their advice was really good. Just do the first 50 videos, just get them done. They're going to be, you're not going to like them. You're gonna think they're rubbish, but they're not. They're good, but you've just got to and improve one thing each time. So, if the sound is rubbish on one, next time, use a mic. If the lighting's not great, change it up. So just change something each time. And then by the time you've done 50 videos, you're confident in talking in front of the camera, and then you're well on your way to getting a few followers. And so it's a long term thing rather than Instagram and Facebook are more obviously instant. YouTube is
It's a long
longer
game.
term, but it is evergreen, so the effort's worth it.
I really love the way that you say that because I think people need to hear that if you're going to do the YouTube game, it's a long-term game and it's really about evergreen content. And that I think that's really, really useful for people to hear. Now, not only have you launched a YouTube channel, but you've also self-published on Amazon. Tell us what that was like. I mean, you're not only are you a YouTuber, but you're a published author on Amazon. Those two things, would you have said that about yourself before you started down this path?
Definitely not. No, doing TechPixies has definitely opened up the world of tech. I did patterns for a crochet along cardigan, which is loads of different squares. And then I wrote the patterns, which I was selling just through my website. And then I thought, actually, this would make a really good book. So then I investigated how to do a self-publishing Amazon on KDP. It took me 20 attempts to get it to load. And it kept saying on the last one, I think I had 4 errors, but I just kept Googling what the errors were and how you fix them. And then, just perseverance. And then, my book's on Amazon. And it's got as I say, all the patterns to my Confidence Cardi.
Yeah, tell us about your Confidence Cardi and and obviously if you're listening, we'll have to describe it to people, but yeah, this is such a cool idea. So tell us about it.
So it's to increase people's confidence because one, you've got to be feeling quite confident to wear it, or a lot of people are going to make a lot of comments. It's more of a festival jacket, somewhere that's fun to go to, and it increases your confidence in your crochet. So there's basic stitches to more advanced stitches, so it increases confidence all round. And I just want to bring color to the world, and I like that confidence. When people are low in confidence or high in confidence, it intrigues me what makes the difference between. So, yeah.
So not only are they making something with their hands, but then it's something they can wear, and it's something that's quite bold that you have to have a lot of confidence to wear in the first place. I love that.
Yeah.
And you've made the cardigan that you're wearing today.
Yes. I thought I'd put sunflowers on because you do that as one of your thing on TechPixies, don't you? With the seeds and the petals and So
Yeah, so
this
we
is
have
one of the squares on my confidence cardi. I just made lots of squares and put them all together for a cardigan.
I love that idea. And yeah, we do. We in the Social Media Superhero Bootcamp, we talk about something called sunflower effect. And I love the sunflower effect. I've been teaching it for about 11 years. And it's that idea that there's 3 types of content you can create into the world. These are your seeds, right? You're planting your seeds out into the world. So you can create video, you can create podcasts, and you can create blogs. You obviously went down the route of, I'm going to create a video. And then we talk about how you can get those seeds out into the world, which is where we would say you peddle your message out. And the funny thing is, I didn't realize that, in America, a lot of our T's are said like D's. So I say water instead of water, and I say petal instead of petal. And so it didn't really work, except for the fact that I would say, yeah, you peddle your message out into the world. And then someone said, Joy, it's with a T, not a D. But the point is that you peddle your message out to the world, you get your message out into the world. And the way that you do that is there's 3 ways. There's email, there's social media, and there's your website. And so you're using the social media option. So you create your content, your seeds, and then you peddle your message out to the world using social media. So you're using YouTube. And then the third thing is it always stems back to your business. So in the sense that you were building the Confidence Cardi, each video then stems back to, the patterns that people can buy, et cetera. So that is so cool. And I love that you're using the sunflower effect in your business and you're wearing it. That's awesome as well. What do you think has been one of the biggest changes for you? And obviously confidence being part of that for sure. But is there anything else that you have really confidence with technology, confidence being on camera, anything else that's really changed for you, and any top tips you can give people in that regard?
It is definitely confidence, and confidence with tech. I'm of an age that computers were just coming in school when I was in senior. I remember having to line up and press the headmaster's hand to make sure we weren't too rough with the computer. So I'm just on the brink of, that whole generation that's scared of computers. So I know a little bit about computers and things, but just doing TechPixies has just made me realize that you can't really break anything. You just try something. If it doesn't work, do it again, do it differently, chalk it up to experience. But yeah, just put yourself forward. Just think, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, so it is definitely confidence, and it's the confidence to know that you can learn. Like with the Amazon KDP, I'd never done it before, and okay, it took me 20 attempts, but I did it. So whereas before TechPixies, I probably wouldn't have persevered as much. But I thought, this can be done. Yeah, so it's taking all the skills that you learn from TechPixies and using it in other areas as well.
What did it feel like when you finally got it through and it was approved and there were no more errors? What did
Yeah,
that feel like?
it was a huge achievement because not only did it take me 20 attempts to upload it, I'd also spent a lot of time making the squares, video in the squares, doing the stills for the book, writing the book, making sure all the pattern, makes sense so somebody can follow it. But the idea is that they can follow the written word in the pattern book, and then they can also follow the video on my YouTube. So, if somebody's like a visual learner rather than, because people learn differently, don't they? So hopefully, because crochet, sometimes you can get stuck at a certain point and it's getting past that point. So I'm hoping with a book and a video, people will be able to go, oh yeah, I can do that.
That is really neat. So what's next for you as you think about, obviously getting to 1,000 subscribers is one of your goals for sure.
Yeah.
What else is next for you now that you've got this confidence in doing videos, confidence in using YouTube, confidence in doing KDP? What are the things,
Yeah.
what's possible for you now?
So I'm working now on my Christmas crochet videos, which will then be a book again. I'm also looking into affiliate links and possible seeing if there's brand deals, because you can make money even before you hit the 1,000 subscribers if people think that you could sell to your audience. So there's brand deals to have a look into. And I'm also working more on Pinterest because that's another evergreen, really good content place for creatives, because that's an image search engine, and it's evergreen. So yeah, I need to work out how to do Pinterest. I have got Pinterest, but it's a different, obviously, platform from Instagram and Facebook, but it's a really good one because
Yeah.
actually there's a high percentage of women that use Pinterest. So it's a good one to get onto.
Yeah, and that one's in our social media management certification training, so that's really good. It's not in our coach training, but it's in our sort of bonus training. The fun story about the Pinterest one is that we had Pip Isles, who became our Pinterest coach. She went through our program and she was like, I love Pinterest. Teachers use Pinterest. You need Pinterest. And so she said, I'll build the first version. And she taught it for a long time. And we just found that not enough people were using it to keep it going for our coaching program, but we do have it as a bonus. And I do think it's a really important network to be using for evergreen content, just like what you just said. I think anyone listening to this and they're thinking, what kind of content do I create? Well, if you create content that could be watched at any time, it's not date dependent. And it's something that someone might watch again and again and again, like that's why crochet, I think, is such a great fit for both of those channels. That evergreen content is really great because people can search for it, and it will continue to gain views and be put in front of people over time, simply because of the search. So the one thing I will say too, in our social media management certification, we have a YouTube SEO bonus, but that's going to be very important for those evergreen social media networks like Pinterest, like YouTube, the SEO factor, the search engine optimization factor, making sure that your keywords are up to date and are easily searchable. Has that been something that you've leaned into a lot in what you're doing, is the SEO side of things?
I've done a little bit of SEO, but listening to you just now, I need to do some more, definitely. While I'm doing my internship, Kelly did show me there's a thing that you've got on the YouTube. I can't remember what it's called, but it checks your SEO, and I think it's a free add-on. So I will be looking into that as well. So yeah, I've learnt loads. Obviously doing the internship as well as the SMMC.
Yeah, Kelly's our resident. She's our social media manager in the sense, and community manager, and she runs the internship program. So as people come into, they finish the social media management certification like you have, and then they can come and they can do 12 weeks working for us, actually, as a social media manager, posting content, and responding to the community. And it's a great way for us to help people who finish the social media management certification get more experience. And and definitely that's one of the things.
Learn how to do it properly.
Well, yeah, you do learn how to, because there's one thing to talk about it. It's another thing to go and do it. But I think one of the things that I really want to applaud you for, you got stuck in and you figured it out and you got it up and you started posting, and I think it's really impressive what you have been able to do, because I don't know a lot of people who, at least with these two channels, like YouTube, Pinterest, and also writing a book. There's only a few people in our community that have gone really deep down those paths and really went for it. And because most people tend to gravitate towards LinkedIn or Instagram. If they're business to business, they'll go to LinkedIn. If they're business to consumer, they'll go to Instagram, or, and Instagram is something that most people are familiar with. They might use it. And so we're seeing a lot of gravitation there, but I think this is a great opportunity to remind people the power of evergreen networks and the ability to really get your content seen 24/7 and, in a repeatable way. And then as long as all your call to actions are in place, you can point people to buy your patterns, you can point people to buy your book, you can point people to buy your course, and you've got all of them. You've got patterns for sale, you've got a book for sale, and you've got a course for sale. And that's pretty cool. So you also learned how to use Thinkific to build a course. So you've been busy. You're a busy granny.
Busy. Yeah, the other thing I'd say about YouTube is that people go to YouTube to be educated, whereas they go to Facebook to be distracted. You'll usually stand in a line or something and scroll. So you've got to be quick on Facebook, whereas on YouTube, you can put an hour's worth of content on there. If it's something that somebody wants to watch, they will sit and watch. And like with crochet, you can speed on through the bits that you know how to do, or you can slow it down so you can, or replay it. That's the great thing with YouTube is, it's what people go to YouTube for. It's to be mainly educated and a bit entertained, but the other social media is about entertainment
or distraction. That's a great point. I hadn't really heard anyone put it that way, but you're 100% right. People go to YouTube for education. They go to Facebook for distraction. I love that. And I think you're completely right. And actually it makes the case for if you are doing something like you're doing, where someone could buy the patterns, they could buy a book, they could buy a course, then actually having that content, like free content out there for them to have a go and see if they like you and they, like your style and they like what you're making. but also for that someone's actually going to actively sit down and look for something that they specifically want to learn. I always tell the story about how I used YouTube to figure out how to put the camper bed down in our car, in our camper van, because I didn't know how to do it and I really didn't want to do it wrong. But I had to go to YouTube. How do I, put a rock and roll bed down in a camper? And that's
Yeah.
where I got the information. So you're completely right. It is very much an educational tool. There is some entertainment, like you said. The shorts are very entertaining. And, if you're not doing shorts, it's going to hurt your exposure. You definitely want to be doing shorts. And you're doing both. You're doing long form video and you're doing shorts.
Yeah, and I've learned in the internship again and on TechPixies, you need to cut down your long term into shorts. Because when I first heard that, I thought that's a bit cheating because, like you're just duplicating your videos, but actually you're not. You're making like a mini advert for your long form video. So people will come and watch it and then, yeah, click through to all your other socials and buy your products. So yeah, shorts are really good. Yeah, I use them to sort of show people what I'm making before I've made the actual thing because it takes so long. I sort of, do a short on the coloured wool and what stitches I'm using and things like that. But then I'll make the long video, and then now having done the internship, I'm cutting up all my long videos into shorter ones that also educate without having to sit through hours of crochet, so people can choose which bit they want to pick.
Yeah, that's really cool. I really like that. And I think that is one of the great points about shorts is you can use it as a teaser for a longer piece of content. We do that for the podcast. We put teasers out and then, remind them where they can go watch the full podcast. And I think, it's still a work in progress to get people to watch ours, but, or I should say to like or comment on them. I think they do get views. They just don't get engagement yet. And because they're not really created as engagement pieces, they're more like teasers. But, Stephen Bartlett was one of the first people that I saw doing that, where he had a filmed podcast and he would do teasers with the film podcast where he'd pull out a piece and get you intrigued to go listen to the whole thing. It definitely has got me listening to a few of his podcasts. Well, I love everything about what you're doing. What's, for someone who is sort of listening to this podcast and they've been in the TechPixie world for a while, but they haven't yet signed up to the program, what would you say when you were deciding whether or not to sign up? What was your biggest barrier? What was the thing that, sort of stopped you from signing up the first few times?
It was the outlay of money, yeah, and just knowing whether I could do it or not. So confidence.
Yeah, confidence. And then what's interesting is now that you know what you know, and now that that you've been able to, it wasn't actually that we taught you how to do Amazon, because we didn't. And it wasn't that we, taught you necessarily how to create a course on Thinkific, because we didn't, right? The thing we taught you how to do was take off the invisibility cloak, and how to, set up your YouTube channel and get started. Knowing what you know now and all the things that you've done since, was the outlay worth it?
Definitely. Definitely. Yes. Yeah. Being with TechPixies, it just gives you the confidence to try different things. It shows you that you can learn tech and you can do all this new stuff that, perhaps, is you sort of think it's for the younger, but it's not, it's for everybody. And yeah, and actually I saw something the other day that YouTube channels, they prefer older people because the content is rich in knowledge and experience, whereas the younger YouTubers, it's all more about influence rather than like
Actual wisdom
content
and
that,
experience.
yeah.
That's such a nice way of
Not sure
putting
I've
it.
got wisdom, but yeah.
I think you
So
do.
yeah,
I think you do. And I think, but that's a great point, just to recognize that they want older people on YouTube because there is a whole audience that's ready to watch them and listen to them and learn from them.
yeah, definitely. And if you've got an idea and you think, oh no, nobody would want to watch that, there are people out there that want to watch your content. You just need to make the video and then you'll surprise yourself on how many people are like, wow, that's just what I was looking for.
And your top tips for getting your invisibility cloak off, what would you say, because you did have your invisibility cloak firmly on, and now you're doing videos on YouTube and launching books on Amazon and launching courses on Thinkific and selling your patterns. What's important for you to tell people to take off their invisibility cloak? What is important to you that you do in order to take it off?
Just don't worry what anybody's going to say, because you think, oh, they're going to think this and they're going to think that. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. If you're having fun and enjoying what you're doing, then you'll find your tribe and they'll vibe with you.
Yeah, that is
So,
so
yeah.
true. And have you been able to connect with anyone that's watching your videos? Have you had some comments and
Yeah,
connections?
so I've found a couple of YouTubers in the Salisbury area. There's another lady that does crochet and weaving, which is near, and then another one over near Bath. So yeah, people connect and say, "Oh, I didn't realise, there was somebody near." So it's quite nice to connect, via YouTube. I usually, when I wear like my crochet jumpers out and things, people go, "Oh, you crochet," and then I like chat and things. But it's nice to be able to do it, online as well, meet people with like-minded talents.
Yeah. Oh, that's so great. Well, thank you for sharing your story. And we've got a couple of people listening live. And of course, a few things here. Casey Social says, Anya's been an amazing intern. So that's Kelly, who runs our intern program. And you have been doing such a great job. And then Claire Louise, who is also part of Casey Socials and also helps us out, says, it's been such a pleasure to watch your confidence and knowledge grow. So, I'm really grateful to you for coming on to the podcast this week, for telling your story. You got some great tips out there on evergreen content, YouTube and Pinterest, and really about taking off the invisibility cloak and not worrying about what someone else has to say or not say. It's not about them anyway. It's about you getting your confidence and moving forwards. And you've got some exciting things coming along as you grow your subscribers to over 1,000. So when people want to find you, they need to go to Granie Annie Creates on YouTube. And
Yes,
remember, it's GranieAnie.
yeah, just one N. It's because there's another Granny Annie on YouTube that's not me. So I had to come up with a different name. So Granny Annie Creates,
Yeah,
because it had
that's
to be Granny Annie, because it just had to be.
yeah, Granie Annie Creates. So if you'd like to follow Granie Annie's journey, please go to Granie Annie Creates on YouTube and you can follow that journey.
Yeah, if anybody wants to pop along to my YouTube channel and leave a comment and say I'm a fellow tech pixie, it'll be great to chat.
Yeah, great. That would be wonderful. Well, thanks again for sharing your story. And I really appreciate that you came on today.
Thanks, Joy.
All right. I love doing that when we get to catch up with alumni, especially ones that I know. I met with Anya a couple times before she made the decision to invest in social media management certification. It was a big decision for her. And I remember she wasn't sure, was it going to work? Was it not going to work? And look, it's worked. It's so cool when that all comes together. And I promise you, Anya did not know when she started on this journey that she was going to have a YouTube channel and a book and a course and patterns, but she's got the entrepreneurial bug and it shows. And it just is, it really warms my heart to see someone go and play full out when they get they take their invisibility cloak off, they get that confidence. So if you are enjoying Anya's story and you are thinking that you want to learn about social media, don't forget, if you go to techpixies.com/bootcamp, you can get on our wait list for our next social media superhero bootcamp, which then leads into our social media management certification program. And if the wait list is off and we're running a bootcamp, then even better, you can come straight in and get stuck in learning. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast or watching it. It means a lot to me that our audience continues to enjoy the content that we're putting out for you. If you have any ideas for us or any people that you think we should be interviewing, please email us at support@techpixies.com. We'd love to help you make sure that you get your best experience with our podcast. Thanks for listening, and I'll speak to you soon.